The moment Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett pulled out a small recording device, she didn't just defend herself against Kash Patel's attack. She turned his own words into the weapon that would destroy his credibility forever. The hearing room was hushed. Cameras trained like hawks on every movement, every eye focused on the man at the witness table. Kash Patel, former White House aide turned FBI nominee, leaned forward with cold eyes. He leveled a devastating accusation at Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. "You are unfit to serve." Gasps rippled through the chamber. But what happened next stopped the room in its tracks and sent shockwaves through Washington. From the moment Patel unleashed his charge, the scene felt less like a congressional hearing and more like the climax of a political thriller. Crockett sat back in her chair, unwavering, composed and resolute. She offered a small, knowing smile, not the smirk of a provocateur, but the quiet confidence of someone who knows the truth is on her side. For weeks, Kash Patel had been on the offensive. He questioned Crockett's qualifications, her past votes, even her motives. He cherry-picked moments from her speeches, trying to paint her as a zealot more interested in sound bites than substance. He cited committee reports, post-hearing statements, and social media posts, all neatly arranged to support his narrative. He spoke of her alleged failures on the Judiciary Committee. He framed her civil rights advocacy as dangerous overreach. He implied that her rising profile threatened to destabilize bipartisan cooperation, but Jasmine Crockett came prepared. As he rattled off his final accusation, unfit to serve this nation, she did something no one in the press gallery expected. From the pocket of her crisp blazer, she produced a small recorder. The room shifted. A collective gasp echoed off the marble walls. Cameras zoomed in. Flash bulbs popped. For the first time since the hearing began, Kash Patel found himself on the defensive. She pressed play. What emanated from that device was the private voice of Kash Patel himself. Recorded just days before, in a closed meeting with key intelligence officials. In that session, far from the glare of public scrutiny, Patel had praised Crockett's sharp legal mind and her unwavering commitment to constitutional principles. "She's one of the brightest, most articulate minds I've encountered on the Hill," he said, his tone sincere. "If anyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's her." That recording cut through Patel's allegations like a scalpel. The chamber fell silent. Senators leaned in, whispering to aides. Reporters frantically tapped notes. Patel's confident facade dissolved, first into a momentary flicker of embarrassment, then into steely resolve. He shot Crockett a glare, but the damage was done. The contradiction hung in the air, undeniable and explosive. You could feel the shift. What began as a line of attack became a testament to Crockett's unshakable poise. She calmly reversed the narrative. Mr. Patel's own words confirm what many of us already knew, that competence and dedication are not defined by partisan labels. She paused, letting the weight of his voice echo once more through the room. "If a private conversation reveals your true assessment, why should we trust the public performance you just offered?" Patel tried to regroup. He fumbled through prepared talking points about policy failures and procedural missteps, but the recording had rewritten the script. His argument sounded hollow, rehearsed, deathly quiet after the vibrancy of his compliment. Even his staunchest allies on the committee exchanged uneasy glances, unsure whether to stay the course or distance themselves from this unraveling spectacle. The gallery erupted in a flurry of cameras and scribbling pens. As the hearing adjourned, reporters swarmed the steps outside, eager to dissect every second of the drama. Social media lit up with clips of the recording. Hashtags spiked. Within hours, Unfit trended alongside Mic Drop and Crockett Stands Tall. Late-night comedians had a field day. They aired split-screen comparisons of Patel's public reproach and private praise. In the days that followed, opinion columns debated the ethics of recording private conversations in government proceedings. Pundits argued over whether Crockett's tactic was a breach of trust or a masterstroke of accountability. Supporters hailed her as a defender of truth who refused to be bullied. Critics accused her of ambush tactics unbefitting a legislator. Yet through it all, the substance of Patel's own words remained the loudest voice in the debate. He had, in his own voice, confirmed her capability and dedication. For Crockett, the victory went beyond defeating an attack. It showcased her mastery of both rhetoric and strategy, Her willingness to let actions speak louder than words. She walked away from that hearing more visible, more respected, and perhaps most importantly, more human in the eyes of the public. The narrative had flipped. She was no longer the target but the story's hero. And Patel? He now faces a confirmation process changed forever by his own contradiction. His allies must decide whether to champion a nominee who publicly denounced a colleague only to lavish praise in private. The Democrats on the committee have renewed leverage to question his temperament and integrity. Even if he secures enough votes, the blemish of that moment will linger. Proof that sometimes the most destructive weapon is your own voice turned against you. What unfolded in Committee Chamber 217 that Wednesday morning was more than a hearing. It was a moment when decorum clashed with raw honesty, when the pursuit of power met the power of truth. It's a story that embodies the high stakes of Washington, D.C., where words can wound and redemption can arrive in a single, unexpected recording. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett held her ground, dropped the mic literally, and showed the world that credibility isn't about the loudest voice in the room, but the most authentic one. That small recorder became the ultimate equalizer. It turned a grand accusation into a grand reveal. It proved that in politics, as in life, the hardest truths often come from within. This was more than a hearing. It was a masterclass in resilience, strategy, and the art of letting facts speak for themselves. In Washington, credibility is currency. And sometimes the richest payback comes from your own words. If you enjoyed this story and want more bold, thought-provoking content, don't forget to subscribe to Hill Stories. Hit that like button, leave a comment to let us know your thoughts, and tap the bell so you never miss a moment. Thanks for watching.